Welcome to Sentinel, podcast about photography. This is our last episode of the year. By the way, we crossed a year a couple episodes ago.
Woohoo.
We've been doing this for a year.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Seems impossible. Times. And yet, here we are.
Did you know that Google recommends using Chrome? I opened Google Maps and they...
Yeah, I've heard this. I've heard that they recommend that I use Chrome.
They're really big on that. Yeah.
I'm going to not do that.
No. Yeah, I'm not really... Yeah, it's fine.
I have Chrome installed specifically for this show because Zencastr requires Chromium for some reason.
Yeah.
And so that's what I have.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
I don't stop that. If you're a Zencastr, I don't even know. If you run Zencastr, stop that.
If you're a Zencastr,
if you're Mr. Caster,
if you or a loved one,
just stop doing that. Make it work in another browser. You don't need Chrome.
Yeah. Speaking of things you don't need, start into the news segment. Adobe is increasing the prices of its photography plans in January.
Yeah.
And they're doing this in a very, I feel like, user hostile way.
Shocker.
Yeah. So they're getting rid. So there's the plan that I'm on, which is the photography 20 gigabyte plan.
Sure.
It's $10 a month if you pay monthly. That's going up for existing users to $15 a month. If you're a new user, you can't do it anymore. You have to subscribe to the annual option. So you can't subscribe to try it out for like a month or whatever and see if it's right for you. You have to pay up front. Yeah.
Okay.
No change to the photography 1 terabyte plan prices. For the Lightroom 1 terabyte plan, they are increasing the monthly cost for existing users from $9.99 to $11.99, and I believe they are also making the as for the Lightroom 1 terabyte plan. There are good and bad changes on offer. This plan previously did not include Lightroom Classic, but only the new Lightroom. The monthly plan is increasing from $10 to $12, although Lightroom Classic is being added to the mix.
Okay. Wait, you didn't get Lightroom Classic before?
No, the Lightroom plan was just new Lightroom.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess that's good that you get that now.
I'm guessing that
you didn't before.
Yeah, I'm guessing that most people subscribe to the photography 20 terabyte plan because who is using Adobe Cloud Storage?
Yeah.
Certainly not me. Because that's the one that is, jumping up by the most amount. And then, they're making the monthly option go away for new users. And the yearly subscription price is not changing. So they're very much trying to tempt folks into the yearly pricing who are on the monthly I don't know what the advantages of that, but whatever.
I genuinely don't know. I can't
I don't know. It's very annoying. We need more competition for like Lightroom and Adobe in general, because this is just, it's like, come on.
We really need, we talked before. Apple purchased Pixelmator.
Yeah,
I really, really hope that what happens there is that it becomes, something like that.
Speaking of that, did you see the innovations that they promised for Lightroom and Photoshop next year?
No.
Item number 1, faster culling.
Oh, great.
They've seen all the AI culling apps and they're like, oh, maybe we should do that.
We got to do that too. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing with Adobe, I think, is that they're the what is it, 800-pound gorilla. They're the eminence grise, in the room. And they're moving slowly. And I just think that that's not going to last for them. You know?
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
I don't know.
Because we've been living under the tyranny of Photoshop for what, like almost 40 years now?
Pretty much.
34 years.
Yes, yeah.
So
the thing,
it's time for change.
The problem is they do have the best product. That's the thing.
Yeah, because they are so big and can afford to hire so many people, I think. But
yeah,
you know, I think there's room for improvement, certainly.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Not to mention the fact that like they have Lightroom and Lightroom Classic. It makes me worry that Lightroom Classic is like always about to go away, you know? Like, how long is it going to stick around really before they're going to be like, oh, you have to use new Lightroom now?
I wonder about this too. I don't know. It scares me.
Yeah.
It scares me a lot, and I don't.
So
I don't know.
So if you want a monthly subscription to the photography plan, which includes Photoshop and Lightroom, get it before January 15th, 2025. Because you won't be able to after that.
Yep.
They are, they also, okay. So the Lightroom 1 terabyte plan says the monthly plan is updating to $11.99 a month with an annual commitment. Oh, I guess this is their thing where like, that they did a while ago where like you pay monthly, but if you quit before a year, then you have to pay some, early termination fee, basically, because they decided that taking, wireless industry tactics from the mid 2000s was a good idea.
Right.
I don't know
how do they get away with that?
Yeah.
Is what I want to know.
Because they don't have sufficient competition, I guess.
I just...
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's get off of that because it makes me sad. There's a new point.
Government.
They're not going to do anything.
No,
certainly
not anymore. Now.
Yeah. There's a new point and shoot on the block.
Is there?
Panasonic has released a successor to its ZS80 point and shoot with the new ZS99, which will be known as the TZ99 in some regions, because apparently we're still doing convoluted regional naming schemes with cameras.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Says the new ZS99. The new ZS99 isn't hugely different from previous models, serves as a minor refresh of the format, but it does show a renewed commitment to point and shoots. Basically, this is a point and shoot that is, I would say, perfectly fine. It's got a Leica lens on there and all that, and it's $500, which is not too bad for a decent point and shoot. Certainly cheaper than your X106. Is the image quality going to be as good? Probably not, but it'll probably be A-okay. Yeah.
That seems fine.
Yeah.
More of these is better.
There is one change here that I don't care for. In order to accommodate the new USB-C port, Panasonic opted to remove the electronic viewfinder entirely. The only finder is the rear LCD. Now, that's par for the course at this price level, I would say. Having the EVF was a bonus, but it's still sad.
Yeah. The EVF on these little ones, I mean...
EVFs are hard anyway. I mean, the EVF on my Sony RX100 is kind of ridiculous, although that's kind of why I like it. But I mean,
they were never that
so
good.
Tiny.
They're never that good on these little ones anyways.
Right.
So,
I mean, they were never good on film point and shoots anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
I would argue they're not really that good on Leicas, but that's going to get me in trouble. So,
and I guess there's a new upgraded Micro Four Thirds one as well.
Yes, the
CS99.
The G97, which is an upgraded G95 Micro Four Thirds interchangeable lens camera, which is also, fine. That one is
$849.
$849. Yeah,
kit only.
Interesting.
You cannot buy just the body.
Yeah.
Who's buying that? Who's buying a
Micro Four Thirds camera?
A Micro Four Thirds Lumix.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think I've met one person in real life who had a Lumix Micro Four Thirds.
I have never seen one of these in real life.
I will say that you cannot find these in camera stores.
No.
No.
In
fact, so the camera stores near me have Canon, Nikon, Sony, and Fuji, and that's it.
So ours has Panasonic, but only the video ones like G7X and whatnot.
Yeah. They don't. The camera stores near me don't have any other brands of camera available new, and they barely have those used. Except for weird specialty cases, I would say. But yeah. So, speaking of cinema cameras, your Z9 has been updated. There's a firmware update that adds shutter angle support.
Shutter angle.
Shutter angle. That's instead of shutter speed, shutter angle is for taking movies, video capture.
Now, here's the thing. This doesn't have a shutter.
Yeah.
So what's that doing?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a good question.
Why? Is it just a different name for shutter speed that they made for video people?
Kind of, yeah.
I know what it is physically, but what is it doing? I don't know.
The other thing that they've done.
Oh, I get it. It's tying the shutter speed to the frame rate. Basically,
yes.
So if you adjust the frame rate, the shutter speed will change too.
Right, and basically, it's like a selectable level of motion blur, rather than.
Okay, I guess that makes sense for video.
Right.
Kind of odd that it's Z9 only. I feel like that should also be in the Z8. But.
I don't know. The other thing they've done is they've added Frame.io camera to cloud support for the Z9, Z8, and Z6 III. Not on the camera, but via the NX Mobile Air app and only on Android for now.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why it's got to be in the app. Don't these cameras have Wi-Fi? I don't know.
Well, they do, but most of them are bad. The Z9 has an Ethernet cable. Why can't I plug that in? And yeah. Sure seems like something it should be able to do.
I don't know about you, but I've never met a camera app that I've liked or that has
they're
worked
all
well.
terrible.
Yeah.
They're all awful, and there's an army of people that will try to convince you that they're not terrible.
Which is just wrong
because they're all bad.
Camera makers are not good at making apps. It's just like a fundamental fact of the universe,
And the app being bad is the reason I have a Z9 and not a Z8, because I don't want to rely on SnapBridge for geotagging because it doesn't work half the time.
Yeah.
I had a physical GPS dongle for my D750 that would plug in. It sucked battery like crazy, but it would geotag without the stupid app.
Yeah.
You see, Nikon also. Did you know that it's possible to change the color of something on the camera display without having to send your camera in for service?
That's going to be news to Canon.
Well, in Nikon world, you can change the color of the zebra pattern for focusing. So
yeah, that's exciting because Canon has a new custom grid line feature.
Yeah, I think we talked about that in the past.
Yeah,
and they didn't have details on how you
get
it.
That was Sony, actually.
Oh, it was Sony? Okay.
Which Sony launched their custom gridline license for $149. Canon, cutting you a break, $120. However, you do have to send your camera in for service.
Yes, it has to be. They have to install the JPEG.
Yeah. They have to. So what they do is they take the lens off and they get a Sharpie and they draw on the sensor.
Yeah,
but it's important that, like, you have to use the right kind of pressure that you don't ruin the sensor. So it's best that this is done by, Canon professionals. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
How does it require that?
It's 120 per unit, and is currently only compatible with the R50, R10, and R7 cameras at this time. So if you have an R5 and R3 or the new R1, go screw yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't you have to send your camera in, and who knows how long it's going to take for them to do it. So, I hope you're not busy.
Yeah, yeah. And do you have to choose which ones you get? Like which grid lines you get? Or do you get all of them? That I can't tell.
Yeah. I don't.
It says they have a bunch available, but I don't know if that means you get all of the grid lines when you put it in, or you get the one.
Is $120 entitle you to all the grid lines, or just one pattern that you select? And then if you want to switch, do you have to send the camera back in?
Yeah, I hope not.
Can you turn them off, or are they just on all the time? I have lots of questions.
Yeah, and like you said, none of their full frame cameras have this available to them.
Well, who would use a full frame camera to take portraits?
Well, I don't know.
I don't. Sometimes it feels like Canon doesn't really know what they're doing.
Yeah. No,
I just have to say
especially with software, they have no clue.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Panasonic added this too.
Yeah, for $0, I believe.
Well, they added also this volume photography software, which is a license that you pay.
Volume photography. Interesting.
I mean, it's for the Jostens of the world. The people who are taking a bunch of school portraits and stuff. And
I thought it was like
Canon
that sound camera thing.
And that's what this Canon feature is too, right? It's for professional portrait takers and stuff. But the Panasonic one is $199, and it also adds other features like custom metadata for the photos, scanning an order barcode to tag it to the right person, etc.
Yeah, okay. So I see that. Yeah, so I see the fact that it integrates with a barcode scanner so that you can scan the the little sheet or whatever. That is actually pretty smart, I think.
And apparently it integrates with a whole bunch of these other tools that are for volume photography. So whatever metadata it adds,
total
integrates
schools
with all these other ones.
School photography workflows. My God, this is a niche of a niche. It
is, but at least for your $200, you get something.
Yeah.
You're not just buying a JPEG here.
Total School. I'm on the Total Schools website. School Picture Day sales. It's time to grow your business. You got into this to make money, right? Then stop thinking like a photographer and start thinking like the business beast that you are. Okay, maybe beast is aggressive, but you see where we are going with this. We want to help you reach your true potential. Very bad copy, folks.
Yeah, pretty bad. Although you can tell it's not written by
you didn't get into photography because you like taking photos, did you? You just are trying to crank out photos to make lots of money. That offends me personally.
Looking at the screenshot of the school's product here, they definitely made it look like Lightroom, but Lightroom from before Classic. Lightroom 4 is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Jeez,
the high volume photo industry.
It's mostly a scam.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with the school ones. My parents would never buy those. But I do have experience with the race photographers, like running race.
Oh, interesting.
That's a racket, man.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
For a single photo, they want at least $100.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, they had something like that at my college graduations where
we had that too. Nobody bought them.
No. Yeah. It just seems kind of pointless now. I feel like it sort of made sense in an era when not everyone just had cameras on them,
Yeah, right.
But like these days, like, no. Like, no, I'm not going to pay for that. No, it's fine.
No.
Yeah. Speaking of things I'm not going to pay for, Blackmagic's Ursa Cine Immersive dual lens camera.
Oh, it's finally here, huh?
Yeah. Costs $29,995.
Which for a Blackmagic product, not
it's
not
a bargain.
Yeah.
This is a dual lens camera designed to capture footage to be viewed on the Apple Vision Pro. So pretty niche market.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is going to sell for very long, but
okay. Here's my guess, right? Apple has been making some content for Vision Pro, not a lot, but some. And I have to imagine a lot of that is because the equipment to make video in that format like hardly exists.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they've been working with Blackmagic on this product for 2 years at this point to try to get it to something that they can use.
Right.
And you have to remember also, they're not going to sell this to like regular movie studios. They're going to sell this to Apple affiliated studios, of which there are quite a lot at this point.
Yeah. I am going to point out that for the price of this camera, you can buy their other large format Ursa Cine 17K camera for the same price. So,
but see, this is 2 camera. So if you think about it that way,
it's 2 camera, but it's not. It's only 16K, whereas the one camera is 17K 65 millimeter. So, there you go.
Pretty good. I mean, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I
do like looking at these cameras that are made for like professionals to use, and so they actually have like a good user experience with lots of buttons for specific things, because they know you don't have time. You don't have time to be digging through menus.
You got tactile, clearly labeled backlit buttons.
Yeah.
You
don't have time to be scrolling through a menu to find where the ISO setting is. Right. You need to be able to adjust that right now.
Yep. I wish. I mean, the Z9 they try to get there. The higher end cameras, they try. At least the Z9 has illuminated buttons, which is an improvement. But I mean, still, you got to go like changing everything. You got to go through menus.
Yeah. And finally, Lens Rentals has put out their list of the most rented photography and videography gear of 2024. This list once again topped by Canon for reasons that continue to escape me.
Because nobody wants to pay for those lenses.
I guess so. Yeah, it's mostly the first 5 rentals are all Canon lenses, and then number 6 is the EOS R5.
Yeah,
the first actual camera.
I wonder if it's like so I think one thing that definitely happened, you got a lot of people who like bought, Canon Rebel SLRs in the last 15 years. And so maybe they're trying to take nicer pictures. They're renting that 24 to 70 2.8.
Yeah.
Right. Because you notice the number 1 is not an RF mount. It's an old Canon mount.
Yeah.
And number 3 as well, or number 4 on this list as well. Those are both the older mounts. They're not the mirrorless mounts. So I'm guessing people are renting nicer lenses for that.
Yeah.
Or it's professionals who haven't upgraded to RF yet.
I think that might be the case too. I think this is also a lot of videography because it's the R5, the R6, and then the 5D Mark IV. The Sony A7S III, the Sony FX3, the A7 IV, the R6, the A7 III, and then just a bunch of lenses. So, yeah. It's all, I would say, fairly video or more video-focused gear than usual. So. Nikon, however, their market share change went up 21% versus last year.
Now that's 4.88 to 5.91%.
Listen.
I mean, genuinely,
Canon grew as well. The big loser in this apparently Red.
Well,
the largest decrease.
They just got to merge Nikon and Red together.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I think Nikon users tend to just buy the stuff.
Well, yeah, it's because as Nikon users, we're all very successful and handsome.
Exactly. Yeah. Every one of us we make a lot of money from photography, and we're respected professionals.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think that like Nikon users will just buy the stuff.
Yeah.
Especially because Nikon doesn't lean as much into video, right?
Right.
It's photographers primarily buying Nikon stuff.
Yeah.
And they're just going to buy a lens. They're not going to rent it for one project.
Right. Well, and I also feel like I imagine at this point that lens rentals business is mostly for video rental. I don't know how many people are renting it for stills. You know?
Yeah.
So that makes, Sony and Canon being sort of the main options for that.
Especially if you look at their front page, like their featured deals or whatever right now, it's all like video camera kits. So you get like a camera, a lens, SD cards, a microphone.
Lumix S9 mobile vlog kit, the Apple Vision Pro.
I've got an Elgato. I've got an Elgato streaming setup. Like it's all for video
Fuji XS20 mobile vlog kit. Bose L1 Pro Sub 1 subwoofer and portable PA kit. There you go.
Being able to rent a Vision Pro is very funny to me.
Yeah, it's $231 for 7 days.
Who's renting a Vision Pro?
I don't know. You can also buy a Celestron telescope. That's on my front page. I don't know who it thinks I am, but I guess it can't decide. But yeah,
I actually didn't know that they would rent you a telescope. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah. Okay, I've refreshed. Now I have Canon R6 Mark II content creator starter kit, Sony Burano 8K digital motion picture camera, Fuji XH2S content creator starter kit.
Annoyingly, they won't rent me a star tracker. That is something I do actually want.
Oh yeah, Elgato Stream Ready audio video production kit with Shure SM7B. Why don't they include an Elgato mic in that? Elgato makes mics
because they know.
Yeah. And the ARRI Alexa LF basic camera set.
Yeah.
$3,165 for 7 days. So
which is like a tenth of the price of buying it. Less than the tenth of the price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I do find it interesting that you can rent, like they do stock like OM system cameras.
Oh yeah.
You can rent those if you want, I guess. You can rent a Pentax 645Z medium format DSLR.
So a couple of times when I've rented from lens rentals, they like haven't had the thing that I wanted, so they call me and they like you figure out something else.
Right.
I wonder if you put an OM system in there, you make an order, they call you and they're like, "Hey, are you sure?"
Yeah. Did you misclick?
You sure you want this? We just need to confirm.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I feel bad for OM system lovers. They are not not getting a lot of attention.
Pity me as well, because like I would kind of like a new Pentax medium format digital camera.
We all.
Yeah. But we'll get to that. Yeah, so it's been a year. I feel like there's been a fairly decent clip of announcements this year.
Yeah. But
we got a number of new Nikon cameras. We got the Fuji X100 we got the XS or XT50, yeah. And then the XM5, which isn't out yet but was announced. There were Canons, R5 Mark II.
There were Canons.
The R1. Yeah. Both DP Review and Petapixel. Well, I guess Petapixel hasn't released their awards yet, but DP Review has awarded No,
Petapixel did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Best on DP Review, best entry-level mid-range camera is the Nikon Z52. The best enthusiast camera is the Nikon Z6 III. Best high-end camera they gave to the R5 II, but I assume if Nikon had made an entry this year, it would have been competitive.
Well, they did, Z6 III.
Well,
I guess it's not high-end.
No, yeah.
So
we're talking
on
like a Z8 or Z9 II, you know.
Petapixel only does camera of the year.
Yeah.
And so they've got A9 III, and then silver is the R5 II, and bronze is the Z6 III.
Yeah. DP Review's product of the year is the Nikon Z6 III.
Yep.
Which,
now,
you know.
More interesting to me is the People's Choice Award here.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the People's Choice Award, the Nikon Z6 III won with 21.8% of the vote. So it beat all of the other ones.
Wow.
It beat the A9, the R5, and then aside from those three are the highest, the next highest bar is the X100V.
Yeah.
Of course.
I feel like this year Nikon really sort of like buckled down a little bit. You know? They were a little behind the 8 ball there, and they're like, all right, we gotta get it together. And they have in a decent way.
I'd say so, yeah. Let's see.
Sony,
accessory of the year.
Oh.
Apple iPad Pro 2024.
That's not an accessory.
I mean, yeah. Desktop software, DaVinci Resolve, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smartphone app. I haven't tried this one yet. Smartphone app of the year, Kino. Kino is it's Halide but for video.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah.
So it's their new app that does video correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, I mean, it looks like a pretty good video thing, and it's got a whole bunch of. They've got like film stocks in it, like film simulations.
Yeah,
which is
I also like Petapixel did their best and worst of the year, and I like the worst. So worst lens of 2024, the Panasonic 26mm f8 Pancake, which was released with the S9 camera. There are no distance markers on the manual focus only lens.
Nice.
The worst video camera of 2024. Do you want to even take a guess?
It's like some GoPro piece of junk.
No, it's the Kodak Super 8 camera.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And the worst photo camera of 2024. Take a guess.
Some Instax, some Kodak thing, probably the Kodak instant camera.
No, the Mintoroli 35 AF.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it though?
It they said they had a difficult time with it, but you know, they feel like the camera's more style than substance, which certainly seems to be the case. So yeah.
I got a review of this Panasonic 26mm f8. Sharpness is a bourgeois concept.
You
don't need it. You don't need sharpness.
Here also is someone else in the comments has said, given their opinion of the worst cameras of 2024, vlogger and entry-level content creator cameras without in-body image stabilization, like the Sony ZV-E10 II, the Fuji XM50, and the Z52, must be said, as well as hybrid cameras with high rolling shutter sensors and no mechanical shutter, such as the Panasonic S9 and the Sony ZV-E10 II. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that came out this year, but not much really stuck with me. Like, I didn't buy any new gear at all for photography this year.
I'm just somewhat intrigued by this Panasonic 26mm f8 lens that it isn't even autofocus. It's like, did you just you had the components lying around? You're like, well, we need to make a lens for this thing. So,
well, you know how sometimes when you have like a pickle jar and you look through it and it looks kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
They just took a cutout of one of those and put it in a lens body.
Right. Yeah. I feel like Fuji could have done better with a plastic lens, you know.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, who's this for? Every time I see something like this, like, who's this? Who is this for?
Yeah.
Who are they intending to use this?
I do not know.
I have no clue. No clue at all.
Yeah. Now, what's this about a camera that sees in reverse?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this. I think this came out after we recorded our last episode. This is a very interesting video from Stuff Made Here, which gives sort of an overview of how optics works and how lens distortion is made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
this is sort of basically, I guess what he made is like a super duper fisheye lens.
Not quite. So normally, like, if you think about the way that eyes and camera lenses work, right? They sort of focus spherically. Right. Light comes in at an angle and focuses at an angle at the back. And it at every point in the lens, it's always coming in at that increasing angle as you go outward from the center, which is why things that are further away seem further away. Right? They seem smaller to us because that's how perspective works.
Right.
In any case, what he built here is a camera that can vary the angle that light is coming in at. So like you can take a picture where the light is always coming straight in instead of coming in from any angles, and therefore has no perspective. So he does an example here where he takes like two objects that are the same size and puts them one like 15 feet in front of the other and takes the picture with it. And they look the same size in the image.
It's trippy.
It makes you feel very uncomfortable to see.
Yeah.
But it is really interesting to see like how when you talk about like lens distortion and you talk about all these different lens elements that camera makers add to lenses to change how the image looks, they're doing this. Right. They're changing the angle that the light is collected at and then it's brought into the sensor at to try to get a different appearance.
Well, and you've got all those fancy lenses that have aspherical elements, you know.
Yeah, and that's this kind of thing
to accomplish this kind of thing. Yeah,
to try to undo distortion introduced by spherical elements.
Right, a way to you have a very like high aperture lens, but you also want to keep the chromatic aberration and all that to a minimum, and so you have to get creative with it.
Yep.
So,
but it's interesting. It was way more difficult than he expected to actually make it work. But it does work, and the pictures you get are very odd.
Yeah. Yeah, they look.
So he also weird. Does one where instead of light comes in a cone normally into your eyes. What if you inverted the cone? So that it points in the opposite direction to what it normally would. So at the edges, it's pointing inward, and at the inside, it's pointing outward. It made me very uncomfortable to see the images after they were taken. It's like, this is incorrect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a weird one. Yeah.
Interesting, though, if you want to learn more about how optics actually works.
Indeed. So 2 questions for you. Yeah. What do you think we'll see next year, and what would you like to see next year in the photographic world?
I don't know. So next year's 2025, so it's not an Olympics year.
No.
So we probably won't have that.
Do you think so? So Nikon updated the Z6. Do you think they'll update the 7, 8, or 9 next year?
7, no. I mean
7 is the 7 is in a weird limbo right now.
It's got I don't see how that continues to exist.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
I think the 7 goes away eventually. Well, Nikon never cancels anything, so it'll just be like,
they'll just continue to
just keep selling.
It continues to be a product in our lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see another Z9. It's
pretty
Z9
old.
Too.
Yeah.
But also I don't know what they like if they don't have the capacity or technology to go to a global shutter. I don't think they'll refine it until they can.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, right. Because that would really be the only like shutter innovation available to them currently.
And that would be the only like you don't need more than 47 megapixels. Like the Sony cameras have.
Hasselblad would like a word.
Well, I know, and the Sony like the A7R is like 60 something now, right? But like, you don't really need that. Nobody really needs that.
No, I feel like those numbers are only creeping up because, like, I guess the silicon, individual elements are getting smaller. Yeah, so it's like, well, we can just.
But there's also benefits to like the A7R5 or whatever it is now has much worse low light noise characteristics than my Z9 does because the pixels are smaller.
Sony Alpha 7RV X2S. They're named like TI calculators, I feel like.
They're even less connected to reality, though.
That is true.
Maybe a revision there. I don't think there'll be a Z8 revision. That's like a year old, right?
I guess that is fairly new, yeah. One thing I'd like to see from Nikon is, hey, point and shoot, maybe? You used to make them. What if you made them again? It seems like a great time.
The monkey's paw will curl, and they'll be at like P2000 or P3000 instead.
Yeah, one of the super zooms. Yeah,
the super zooms. Hey, we made a point and shoot.
Right. Yeah. No, bring me another cool Pix.
Yeah,
that's like 20 megapixels. That's all I need. Yeah. What else do I want? Fuji needs to update the X Pro. The X Pro 3 is now quite old. And it's a really interesting camera in that it's like a kind of rangefinder body for a APS-C mirrorless.
It's a X100 with an interchangeable lens.
Yeah, and that is very appealing to me. But the X Pro 3 is pretty long in the tooth, so
it's very old.
Let's get on that. Go ahead and
it's got, it's the only one with the little window on the back that you can set to show your film simulation.
Yes, which I find incredibly important.
Absolutely delightful.
Because it's about exactly the size as the little window, tab you tear off on the box of film to put it in.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Put that in there.
Also, I don't know. Fuji, you have a lot of cameras. You have the XT50 and the XT32. Sort that out.
Yeah, you don't need all that, Fuji.
One thing I would like that I think we might actually get is a Pentax full frame film camera.
You think?
Yeah, like
within a year? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like it's certainly possible. I don't know if it's likely, but it is possible.
Yeah.
All they got to do is Dremel out the the back of it to make the film gate 30 a full frame, and then flip the viewfinder the right way around. And they'll be most of the way there. Now, I would also prefer that they add autofocus instead of the zone focus, but I couldn't blame them if they just left the zone focus in place and said, deal with it. So, yeah. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. Certainly they made it sound like, this is the beginning and not the end of their film camera endeavors.
Yeah. I have no doubts that they'll make another one. I just don't know if it's within a year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would also, I think it would also be cool if they, basically just like reran one of their classic, manual focus film SLRs. Like,
yeah, that would be nice.
Because that, those are I guess a film SLR, typically manual focus, is probably the most in demand kind of film camera out there right now. Yep. And they also tend to be some of the oldest kinds, accepting things like really old view cameras and whatnot that people use. But like, a lot of these manual focus cameras were built in the 70s and into the 80s even. But, they're getting a little old. They're getting harder to repair. But those are kind of the workhorses for lots of film photographers, including to some extent myself. I have a Minolta X700, and it'd be nice to get a modern, sort of replacement for those to keep things going. Pentax already has done an incredible job basically keeping compatibility with their lenses from almost the very beginning, or at least, basically they had the K-mount, and you can still put regular old K-mount lenses from whenever those came out. Was that the 1960s? You can still put that on a modern Pentax K-mount DSLR with no adapters or anything, and it'll just work. And so, I think they should leverage that, I guess. They've got that. When did the original K-mount come out? When is it? Did that come out with the K1000?
You are asking the wrong person.
Pentax K series. The K2 was the first K-mount camera. Came out in 1975. Before that, it was the Spotmatics, which used M42 screw mount lenses. Mm-hmm. And they sort of stuck with screw mount for a fairly long time, but then switched to the K mount, which continue to live up to today. I also just want Pentax to, update their cameras more generally. They're long in the tooth as well. They did update the KF in 2022, but for example, their nice medium format digital camera, the 645Z, that one came out in 2014. Admittedly, there probably wasn't a lot to upgrade in that until relatively recently, because when that came out, it had the same 50 megapixel sensor as the Hasselblad H5D and a Phase 1 digital back. But like they could put the 100 megapixel sensor from whatever, the GFX 100 or the Hasselblad 100 in there if they wanted to.
Right.
I don't know. It would be interesting. There's vanishingly few medium format cameras out there as well. So
yeah, we need more.
And they are
I guess I don't know. Medium format is tough because
medium format's a weird beast. Yeah.
Large format.
Well, I think it's for large format digital, that's really tough.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
But for, medium format digital, there are some good options out there, and you do get, better photos, I think.
GFX 100 or whatever.
Yeah, but those are kind of your only options, I guess, of new cameras. You can get a Leica, or you can get a Hasselblad, or you can get a Fuji GFX, and that's pretty much it.
Does it make you wonder? Well, no, that's not true. You can remember you can get a Phase 1 XT.
Do they still make those?
Uh-huh.
I thought Phase 1 kind of phased themselves out of the...
I believe they still exist.
I thought they were kind of in the specialty market only at this point.
Of course they are.
But yeah.
Yeah, they still sell cameras. Or maybe they're only in third-party places, but...
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, applications, bespoke photography.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
Their options. Yeah, XT cameras right here.
Well, Phase 1 subsumed Mamiya and then just sort of got rid of it.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Product releases. Interesting.
I think medium format in the end is sort of a vestige of the film world, because
it is. Yeah.
When you can get 100 megapixels in a full frame sensor, what do you need medium? In film, to get more resolution, you needed bigger film.
Needed physically, right. Yeah.
And you don't need that anymore necessarily.
Yeah.
So it's more of an artistic choice to use that now.
It is, yeah. I think there are some, there's physics you know, around
I mean, more light, right? More light, more better, obviously. Yeah.
But we're at the point where that doesn't really, you know, I mean, like we were saying when you were here recently, like a lot of the kit lenses for the digital mirrorless cameras now are like f4 because they don't need to be like f1.8 or f2 anymore.
Not anymore.
Sensitivity is so much better, you know. And just, you know, the ISO dial on my ZF that goes up to numbers that, you know, would blow the mind of anyone working on Kodak film in the 1980s, you know. Like, what do you mean you can go higher than like 6400? That doesn't make any sense. How would that even work? So, wow. Anything else on your mind? Anything else you'd like to see? I guess what's something if it came out that you would consider purchasing? You know, like I know you purchased a Sony RX100 if they made an RX100
actually for this coming year, an RX100 would be nice.
Yeah.
I would
RX100
buy one.
108? Yes.
8,
no, they're on the one. I can't keep track of there's too many RX100s.
I have
Make
several,
it the RX200.
I have several concerts coming up this year, and that would be very useful to have.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to happen, but it would be nice.
It'd be nice if they put a different sensor in.
Well, yeah.
Finally. But that one because that came out in 2019, so that is, you know, getting up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are there any lenses that you would
things that I don't already have? I guess I would like an equivalent of that very long, what is it, like an 800 millimeter f8 or f12 that Canon has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd love one of those.
Just a super, super long lens.
Super long lens. Nikon used to make an 800 f12.
Yeah.
Like ages ago.
I imagine I don't know, because they it seems like they filled out the Z lenses this year, and it seems like that's probably not coming.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess just a cheaper long range prime doesn't even have to be from Nikon. A 600 millimeter prime from Sigma, Tamron, and whatever would be great too. Unlikely, I think.
Yeah.
I find the only thing I find myself looking for is longer reach.
Mm-hmm.
My longest reach right now is 800, and it's with my 400 millimeter and a teleconverter.
Yeah.
So it's this long, unwieldy.
Well, you could get the 800 and a teleconverter.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But I guess what I want to see really is just more third-party lenses, I think.
Yeah, and that I think, you know, I mean,
it's coming. Clearly,
these a lot of these companies are dumping new lenses every week. It seems like so. Yeah, no shortage of that to come. It'll be interesting because I think this year's the first year when a lot of those companies, 7 Artisans, TT Artisans, other brands presumably named something Artisans, you know, all those started releasing autofocus lenses as opposed to just their manual focus. And I haven't tried any of the like third party autofocus apart from like Tamron, which doesn't count in this case.
Right.
I'm curious, like, is it any good? But
I don't know.
But the fact that they are making them already suggests that, you know, it's probably only going to get better. So,
I mean, the Sigma ones have been fine in the past.
Oh yeah, the Sigma ones are great.
So I imagine now, I don't know how the system works exactly. I would imagine the camera is doing most of the heavy lifting at this point.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Sigma's prime lenses are probably some of the best deals in photography.
Right now.
So, yeah.
I wish I could get my Sigma 35 F mount converted to Z mount, but I don't think they'll convert it. They will convert some of them, but I don't think.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't think they'll.
I didn't know they did that or could do that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think like Sigma has lenses that are the same on multiple platforms, So it's basically the same
just, like,
lens.
Unscrew a bracket.
Yeah.
And maybe reflash something in the lens. But
that is effectively what they do, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you they have a conversion service from Sigma that you can go.
Is that really the only Z-mount lens that Sigma makes at the moment?
Yeah, they have like
they only
none
have
of them.
One? Oh no, they have 3. Okay.
But it's only the primes for
it is only the primes
for crop.
Oh, are these crop only?
They're crop, yeah.
Okay. Because I was just, they got a 56 1.4, and I thought, oh, that'd be interesting. But yeah, designed for crop sensor mirrorless. That doesn't help me.
But it's not the only ones they have for Nikon, because that 28 to 75 that Nikon sells is white labeled from Sigma.
Yeah.
So I think Nikon's partnership with Sigma has put them in a strange position where they're like not supposed to make lenses that directly compete with Nikon lenses.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Which is interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like that because I want my 35 millimeter art on my Z body without having to use a stupid converter.
Mm-hmm.
But no.
Oh, in other news, did you put together a photo book for this year or anything?
No, I didn't this year.
Mm.
But I did order an Aura frame for myself.
Oh, very nice. I put together calendars that I'm gonna
all right.
give out. I'm fairly pleased. Mimeo Photo seems pretty good with the actual like image quality and the quality of the paper and all that. So yeah, I think folks in my family will be pleased. So, my only complaint about Mimeo Photos is that the font options that they have are garbage because it's like the default Google fonts and no, come on.
I wish they would let you upload other fonts that you have licensed to.
Or let me use the fonts that I have on my computer.
Well, they can't do that.
Oh, come on.
They can't. Like font licensing is wild.
Yeah, that's all weird stuff.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. Best wishes, happy holidays, happy New Year.
Holidays, everyone.
We'll be back in the new year with undoubtedly more camera news.
It keeps happening.
Yeah.
Well, CES is in the new year, right? CES is like the beginning.
It sure is, isn't it? Yeah.
So I'm looking
we might have to start covering, these photography targeted smartphones.
I don't want to pay attention to those.
Yeah.
I will say, I forgot to mention
OnePlus that has like Hasselblad branding on their cameras, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember there was also that red Hydrogen One phone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which was a resounding success. Everyone owns one.
In my 2025 wish list, I forgot to mention the PA32Q CV monitor. I am looking forward to.
The what now? PA32.
PA32Q CV. Which is the next available 6K 32-inch display.
Oh, interesting.
From Asus.
So this is Asus's competitor to the
Pro Display
XDR.
That is correct.
The built-in motorized flip colorimeter. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's
love.
Interesting.
I love that they've got that. Well, it's one of their Pro Art models.
Yeah.
So it's like it comes calibrated from the factory and it like recalibrates itself. So yeah, I've got a Google alert set up to track this thing for when it actually comes out because I want it.
I just like more 5K displays generally because there just aren't really any.
Yeah, you can choose like ugly or expensive.
Yeah.
I chose expensive, but
yeah,
the other options are not good.
Yeah.
Yep. There's also, I really wanted there to be another OLED. I wanted a 5K 27-inch OLED.
Mm-hmm.
Does not seem like that's coming, unfortunately.
Probably not. No. I don't know.
This year, anyway.
CES will be interesting because I feel like for a while, for about a decade, the bread and butter of CES was TVs, and there was always something new. 3D TVs, and then 4K TVs, and then like OLED TVs, and that's kind of run its. There's not a great deal of TV innovation. I feel like, although
innovation, no, but CES is when all of the panels get announced.
That is true. Yeah.
So like if you're waiting for a new type of monitor, a new type of TV, it's coming at CES. Like that is when those all come out. So that's
but just
why
the TVs aren't really like the top line items at CES anymore. So it's always interesting to see what else there is.
I mean, it's all junk, right?
Yeah.
It's just
well, and it was, a lot of automotive companies were bringing their cars to CES for a while, and I think they're just like
they've given up on that.
Yeah,
mostly.
It's like, okay, maybe we won't do that. So
this year, I'm guessing it's going to be all AI generated crap.
Oh yeah, or gadgets with AI in them.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and stake a claim. We'll probably see like an AI toaster.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll follow back up on that when we it'll probably be from Breville or something too. So
probably.
Yeah. Perfectly browned toast using the power of AI.
Does it have a bit more button still?
A bit more. You know what? Yeah.
Mine has a bit more button.
A bit more. Yeah.
It's patented technology. It says so right on the box.
Patented technology to just add like a random amount of seconds between like 5 and 10 or something.
Patented a bit more technology.
Yeah.
And then it has also lift and look lever.
Oh, okay.
So you can lift the toast and look at it
while
it's cooking.
Oh my.
Breville's branding is hilarious because all of their stuff, every single feature in their product has like some brand that they've attached to it.
Yeah.
So in that one, it's, a bit lift and look. It's got like little eyeballs. And then
what was I looking? Oh, I was looking at like their air fryer / like, tabletop countertop ovens.
Sure.
I guess did they buy the Joule oven? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
they might have.
It's like, oh, you can. Yeah.
Here we go.
Yes.
The Smart Oven registered trademark, Air Fryer Pro with Element IQ registered trademark, is for the cook who desires a countertop oven that can roast for large gatherings.
Okay, yeah, I'll put myself down on that.
Now, what do you think Element IQ is?
I have no idea.
Well, you see, they've taken the benefits of Element IQ one step further by adding Breville sensing and PID temperature control technology.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that's what they've added there.
To folks like us who know about control systems, that's deeply funny and also slightly sad.
If you don't know about PID, that's how you make something that goes to a temperature and stays there.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. It's not really a technology.
Yeah, it's also not particularly innovative in that we've had it for.
I guess it is innovative for a toaster oven because most of them are terrible.
That is true. Yeah.
So I guess it's innovative there.
Good for them.
Anyway.
Air fry and dehydrate presets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Size matters. 13 cooking functions. Toast 9 slices. What? Good Lord.
That's too much. You don't need that much toast.
Yeah. And then, it's also has super convection. Oh, okay. So you have, all right. Toast, bagel, broil, bake, roast, warm, pizza, proof, air fry, reheat, cookies, slow cook, and dehydrate. This is just too many options, really. Like, why does there need to be a cookie specific option? I don't know.
I guess.
It's just, it's so much convenience, really. What is a multi-cooker? All right, I'm just I do still kind of want the Breville, the tea robot thing where it automatic, like it lowers the tea down and then raises it up again.
See, this is the thing.
But
we make fun of it. But I have the Breville toaster and the Breville espresso machine. They're very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their marketing is ridiculous, but the product's good. They work.
Much to think about. Maybe I'll ask for one of these for Christmas.
Yeah, there you go.
The Smart Waffle Pro 4 Slice.
Smart Waffle Pro.
It has waffle IQ. Yeah. You can choose the waffle style. Belgian, classic. I don't know what classic is. Chocolate, buttermilk, and custom.
Custom waffle.
The custom waffle.
That's what I want.
This is a useful feature. The no mess mode, which is basically the waffle plate is a little bit bigger than it needs to be so that it holds on to the batter when it spills out. Yeah.
That is helpful because
this one also has an a bit more button to allow you to brown it just a little bit more.
A little bit more.
So, yeah. A bit more.
A bit more.
Wow.
Enjoy your holidays, everybody. We'll be back next year.